Welcome to the Fireside Chat on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network by Run, Try, Bike. My name is Jason Bahamundi, and I'll be your host for the next 40-ish or so minutes. Today, I'm going to be talking with Dalia Ramirez-Robles, who you may have seen on our website through a How It All Started feature that we did on her, as well as a run club that she co-founded called Coremos Sacramento. They're on our website, easy to find. Just go to runtrymag.com and search for Dalia there, Dalia, and you'll find both articles. I'm excited to bring not just the words from the article to life, but to bring Dalia to you because she is full of energy. She is full of love in working on bringing community together. And it's one of the things that has fascinated about me as I've been able to talk to her for the last couple of months. In 2019, she rediscovered running and is currently preparing for the Nike After Dark run on June 7th, so in about 3 weeks. She's a community builder, and when you talk to her, you get the feeling that it is the thing that drives her desire to make the world a better place, and that's extremely admirable. We're going to be talking to her about all of those pieces and parts, as well as cycling and how that plays a role in community building. Before we bring her onto the show, please remember to subscribe, rate, review, and comment nowadays on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network on your favorite podcast platform. You can get access to all 9 of our shows. So that means there's something for everybody to choose from, whether we're talking about music, whether we're talking about food, some Q&As with everyday athletes just like yourself, where we discuss overcoming obstacles, building community, connecting with one another. And even if you finish last or DNF, your story is still valid. So check out the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network on your favorite podcast platform. Without me continuing to yammer on, let's bring Dalia onto the show and have a wonderful conversation. Hi, my friend. How are you?
Hi, Jason. I'm so excited. You make me sound great. You make everyday athletes sound great. So I'm really excited.
But we are great. That's the easy part. I don't have to do anything. Yeah. You guys are great. So we have an icebreaker question, and whether or not this conversation is in a friendly format or a faux format depends on your answer.
For either.
Here it goes. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Yay.
Oh.
No bacon, though.
No bacon on pizza at all, not even with the pineapple?
Not with the pineapple. I like that pineapple pizza. I don't like the bacon on it.
Do you like pineapple with red sauce or with white sauce when it's on your pizza?
Wait, I haven't even noticed. I just like the barbecue sauce.
Oh, so totally different things.
Right. Wait. It's like the Hawaiian pizza.
I am fully invested in food conversations and especially pizza because I'm from New York. And so it just is one of those things that I'm passionate about. And I often ask people when they say, oh, I love pineapple on pizza, I ask them, does it require that you have ham or jalapenos or bacon or pork of some sort? And the majority of the people say yes. And that tells me you don't actually like pineapple on pizza. You would just rather have a barbecue on a piece of bread.
It's true. I love sauces. Typically when I crave something, I crave it either for the buffalo sauce or the balsamic or the barbecue, or Caesar dressing. Yeah, I'll put any of those sauces on pizza. I don't care about the pizza. I only care about the sauce.
Well, I mean, we could easily turn this into a food show, but you came on here specifically to talk about running and endurance sports. And I want to get into cycling because one of the things that I love about your Instagram feed is you cycling with no hands while dancing to Latin music. It is phenomenal. Honestly, Dalia, if you have a bazillion views on that, I'm probably half of that on days where I'm feeling down. I go there and I look at it. You're happy. So we'll talk about cycling as well. I mentioned.
I do want to say I'm the other half of that. I'm just I look at myself and I was like, wow, I'm so proud of myself for doing that. I hype myself up.
And you should be. I will tell you this. So my wife and I, we were talking the other day while we were driving, and we were talking about social media in general. And we said, what if we impressed ourselves more than we try to impress others when it comes to our social media and posting and why we're posting and all of these things. So if you're already going there to look and say, look, I'm impressed with myself, look at what I've done, that's awesome. Kudos to you. So I mentioned that you got started in running again. You revisited running in 2019. And while I know the story, can you give us a little background on how you got started again in 2019? Because I think that helps build what comes later with Coremos Sacramento.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, it was because of a male, a boy, a handsome man.
We are trouble, 100%.
I hate it. Yeah, but yeah, I met someone that was training for a half marathon, and yeah, we met this one weekend, and they said like, "Hey, I want to hang out with you again. I'm like training for this half marathon, and I don't have a lot of time." Like they were on vacation, and I was in. He said he was running 8 miles, and I was like, "Oh, I used to run in high school." That was like 10 years before that. Like, I used to run in high school. I ran 7 miles before. Like I said this, and so I joined his run, and we went for a 1 mile walk basically. But that's kind of what reignited my interest.
So the way you're saying it, I presume this gentleman is no longer around. And how does running with this person end up becoming this community that you have built, which is very strong? It is very active. If anybody goes to the Coremos Sacramento Instagram page, you will see the engagement there. You will see the club members there. Like it is super powerful to see. So how do you tie those two together? What happens in between?
I think I mentioned during one of our interviews of kind of how um, my adult running journey had two stages. One was the solo runner, and then the group runner. Yeah, so after this gentleman kind of like reignited my interest in running and like taught me about half marathons and races and whatever, like training plans, I would just like go on runs on my own. And then I got really into it. Um, and then I decided to move to Sacramento. And he's the one that told me like, oh, cities have running groups and training groups, blah blah blah. Look into Fleet Feet. And so then that's kind of how I looked into Fleet Feet and joined one of their training groups. And then once I joined that training group, I really enjoyed the accountability. I enjoyed, yeah, just also someone else setting up the schedule of like, show up this time, this day, show up this time, this day. Awesome. Okay, we'll do. And then also, like, there's just so much support, and I had a mentor there that volunteered for the training program. So that made it like that was a bigger incentive to show up. Um, and then once I discovered that there were Latinos that run, oh, that was like a game changer for my entire existence because then now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed with you. I want to be surrounded by like Latinos all the time, and I also like to run, and let's do this together.
You know, it's amazing to me. So that reaction that you have there about seeing other Latinos in who are running and this connection that you automatically have is something I heard from Desmond Taylor Douglas when we interviewed him for our Enduring Mind show. He is a Black male who went to, please forgive me, Des, I believe he went to Morehouse in Atlanta. And when he went there, he saw other Black athletes who were runners as well, and not just track and field athletes, but they ran half marathons and marathons. And he felt like this community all of a sudden that really lifted him up. Is that an accurate way to describe your feeling when you see other Hispanics and Latinos running? It like lifts you up and gives you this surge of energy.
Yeah, yeah, I do get a surge of energy. I still don't know how to fully describe it. It feels like home but better. It feels like the redeemed version of home where we get these shared like a shared upbringing, cultural experience, um, but with like healthier components where we're going to the park and running or walking and taking care of our bodies. And also, like a lot of Latinos, I mean, I don't know about some of y'all, I grew up with the Latina women in my life having unhealthy ideas about what health is. So, like diets and body shaming or whatever it was. And then so now I get to be with other curvy Latinas where we just get to go on walks or jogs, but not make it about like unhealthy body ideals.
Do you find that the community helps strip away some of that pretense? Because running strips away that pretense, right? Like when you're struggling during a run or even on a bike, like it sucks. And you got to do everything you can to get through it. And so you can no longer put this front up. And I'm wondering if that's what happens when you're running with other, you just mentioned curvy Latinas, but I'm thinking about Hispanic males and Latinos and this machismo component that goes out the window when you're struggling because you're like, I just got to get to the finish of this so I can get home kind of thing. And you become vulnerable. Is that something that you see within, your running community and with yourself?
Repeat a piece of that question.
Do you find that the ability to connect with the other Latino and Hispanic women in your club, or if you see the men connecting with each other more, is because they become vulnerable? Because running strips away that I can do everything concept because it's going to be hard at some point.
Mm-hmm. About that one. I don't know. I don't know about that question. I think there's like a lot of layers to it, so I can't come up with an answer. If you can like super simplify it for me with like 4 words, I can try.
Are you able to be more vulnerable in your group because running forces you to be more vulnerable?
Good question. I don't know. I don't think I would say running forces you to be vulnerable. I wouldn't. I think it just depends on the person. Like because I have seen people. Oh no, I don't know if it. Like you have to want to be vulnerable, and you have to want to like transform your mentality and your ideals, um, and your perceptions. Like people, I hear so much of like, oh, I'm like, ugh, I'm so slow, or I'm too this, and people like, and it's still like it's still a frequent comment, right? If people saying like how they are so slow and how they like can't keep up with anyone and how all of these things. And so I think that shows more of an ego as opposed to like being what was the word that you used?
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Yeah. And then so but I think like the vulnerability piece happens like way like way deep after you've been running with like a certain pod for a while. It has happened to me, but it's like with girls that it's like we have to like be running just the two of us or be in community just the two of us, and then we eventually come to that, which also for me that really hasn't happened during the run club. It's happened during events or meetups outside. So some of us even did that today. Like a lot of us work remote, we get together at a coffee shop, sit down, go on a mental health walk, and that's where the like intimacy happens, and then that's where those like transformative conversations happen. I think like at Run Club itself, it's a little bit more difficult, and I have seen men like brag or try to like be at the front, and then they'll like post about it on social media, like I was at the front again, or like oh my gosh, but like everyone always wants to race me because I'm so fast and like I'm just here for fun, guys. And it's like if you were just here for fun, you wouldn't be saying that. So it's like which like these folks are still they're still welcome, they're still valued, they still belong. But just saying that like some people still bring ego into their journey.
100%. I think one of the things I've been doing endurance sports, training, racing for 18 years now. And I think the thing that has always grabbed me is the word just. I just run 5Ks, or I just run this, or I just run a pick the number for pace.
Yeah.
And it has always bothered me because it's like, it's not just like, this is what you're capable of doing and you should celebrate that. And I wonder if it's because there are new people entering the sports constantly. And so it's the new person who uses the phrase just because they haven't necessarily found their way through the sport yet. Like you said, they haven't had those intimate conversations with people. They haven't realized that there is a place for everybody. Some people run 5K, some people run 100 milers, some people run marathons, some people run 200 milers. We're all going to be different at some point within the running community. And I just think that the beginners haven't found that yet. I wonder if your club, that with your co-leaders, are you guys having conversations with these beginners when they come in and they're saying things like, I can't participate because I don't go this far, or I run too slow, or, and you're encouraging them to be like, just show up. There'll be people that walk today. There will be people that run your pace. There will be people that stay with you. Is that how you also foster community within your club?
I think so. Yeah. I try to be pretty, um, I try to bring that message usually on the captions of our posts. I have a notes, like a note on my phone where I just like copy and paste it, just like reminding people like every body, every experience, like every pace is welcome. And yeah, just constantly trying to put that message out there. Like once people join for the first or second time, I think they're comfortable. I feel like the harder conversations are just like friends that want to run, like friends outside of the running community, and they're like, "Are you still doing that running thing? Oh, I'd love to go sometime, but like I'm so slow, or like I don't know, I'm like so out of shape. Like I'll prepare, like I need to get fit for the run club before I go." And it's like we have a walking group. You can literally just like walk a mile or jog or do both. Like I never said anything about needing to be at a certain level before coming in. So it's usually conocidos, acquaintances that know and love me outside of running, but uh, have all these perceptions.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there on the page, right? It says a Latino-led run walk club, and it says todos bienvenidos, right? Like all are welcome. So I do wonder sometimes when we as people who are trying to build community say all are welcome, if we're missing the plot sometimes. Like if it's just an arrow over the top and people just don't see that, because there's plenty of gatekeeping in our sports. Let's be honest, right? There will be people who will say, well, you're not running unless you run a 4-hour marathon, or you're not a runner unless you run a 2-hour half marathon, or you're not an X unless you do Y, kind of thing. And those voices tend to be the loudest versus the people who are saying all are welcome, come hang out with us. And we end up not bringing enough people into our sports. And that's one of the things that bothers me the most. And it's one of the things that when I talk to you, I get passionate about, because you are literally saying, just come hang out with us. It's okay, right? We'll figure out paces. We have co-leaders. We have people that will walk with you. We'll have people that will run with you. We'll have people that will hang out with you if you decide to run, a mile instead of 4, or whatever it is. And you're planting that flag that says this is a supportive space.
Mm-hmm.
When you got started in running, is the reason why you have this supportive space and you're as supportive is because that was something you wish you had when you started running back in 2019?
Ooh, deep. I think um not so much the desire for me to give so much support and so much and encourage, a space of belonging. I don't think it's so much because like I wanted that support as a beginner runner, but I think just in general, just in general from just childhood feeling abandoned or whatever. you
Look,
know, yeah, I also grew up an only child, and then and yeah, crazy or weird situation with my parents, and then later on I had siblings, and it's always been like weird dynamics. And I think that I think the desire to create a space where everyone feels belonging comes from my childhood, and then now I get to make a difference. um for for me, like running is just what like got me excited. um but it's not like we can do any subject matter. Like I met about a bunch of like environmental nerds, and now I'm just like, how do we get like a club of all the like Latino environmental nerds to come together and talk about like herbivores or whatever rocks. So I just want to be around like people.
where does all this energy come from? Seriously, like most people are not thinking, well, let's start a transportation club, let's start a run club, let's start a cycling club. Like most people are not doing that. They're looking for somebody else to do the work that they can catch on to. Like, where does your energy come from? It's infectious, by the way.
And it's so funny because today, like, I'm tired and I'm kind of stressed, and like my eyes been twitching all week.
I hope it wasn't for this interview.
No, and then I was also just at like a city council meeting that ended up going like a lot longer, so I was there for a long time. And then while I was giving public comment, I felt like my eye was gonna shut. And I'm like, it's like I'm twitching so hard. Anyway, where does the energy come from? I think it's probably like a natural personality disposition, but also like an ADHD. But I think that I am determined to like create homes. Like I don't know, like just like this like spaces and yeah, just like spaces where people belong, where people are celebrated, where I don't know. I think it's again like my lifelong longing for that. Um, and then also, I think at some point my in the last 4 years, it occurred to me that like, oh, if we want to see something, we could do it. Like we could do it. And now I don't have like too many reservations of that because it's like why do we like I think we limit ourselves. And so, I saw something on Instagram of like, oh my gosh, Mexico City is doing all these like day coffee shop antros, like this like party with a DJ in a coffee shop. Yeah, like, and then they said like, oh, I wish we had that here. And it's like, we literally go to cafes every week. They're right there. We know the owners. We know DJs.
Make it happen.
Like, what else do we? Yeah, and then it's just a matter of like, if I have this longing for something, like let's just make it happen. Let's connect the pieces that we have available and make it happen.
I can't stop thinking about this. Is your notes section in your phone just filled with ideas like mine is? Like it's just idea after idea after idea after idea.
You know what? I am I just I just text the people. Just like I just texted like I yeah, like, oh my gosh, you're a track coach. I'm looking for a track. I'm looking for a track, and I want a banda in the middle and da 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 da. Right? Like this is literally my dream, Jason. Like also anyone watching, like you can donate to the club. I'm not the finance guy, so I don't know, but I know you can make our dreams come true. But like, and so anyone that I meet that has like a remote connection to a vision that I have, I just share it with. I just like, let's go. Yeah. I
We
don't
are
think I.
we are cut from the same cloth because that's like I want to introduce people to other people and make things happen. Just last night on Instagram, I connected a running coach who has been on our show numerous times to somebody I just met on Threads who mentioned that they were looking for a running coach, and I was like, I got one for you. Don't go anywhere. Da 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 da. Send it off,
Oh,
right? Um,
perfect.
it's just like I don't know. I get satisfaction out of that in knowing that I was able to connect two people to move the ball forward to better their lives. And I guess that's another way of looking at community building, right? Like you may not necessarily be in the middle of the community as it's being built, but you made that connection to help build that community. Um, does would that accurately describe some of like the enjoyment you get out of the networking and the connections?
Yeah, yeah, I love networking and connecting people to one another. And oftentimes I say like I'm not the person with the answers, but I am the person that knows who has the answers, and I'm happy to be a conduit.
I love it. So let's make a quick pivot here into the world of cycling because I mentioned it early or on in the conversation that one of my favorite things on Instagram is watching you cycle with no hands while singing to music and sometimes playing the trumpets, sometimes playing the drums. And I'm blown away because I personally, who have been riding bikes for I don't know how long, can never take my hands off the handlebars. Like I am chicken shit when it comes to that. Like my hands are always on the handlebars. So I'm out of just enamored by this idea. How did you get into riding bikes? What was it about cycling that you were like, let's go try that? Or is it just literally let's go try that?
Uh, and sorry, I mute my thing because there's a train, a light rail that passes through here. So I had to pause it. Let's see. One, okay, writing without the hands, it's like again, if you have a vision for something, just do whatever it takes to make that vision come to fruition. Right. So like sometimes I would have my aftershocks in while riding bikes. And I just want to dance. And so it wasn't until that like I had this like banger on and it just came so natural. Like, yeah, oh my gosh, it was just like it was contagious within myself. Like this like it just happened because I was just feeling the music and it was so fun and I was so proud of myself because also I'm like, oh my gosh, am I really that coordinated and that strong? It's really cool. And then so now every time that I have a song on and I'm feeling the breeze and I'm like just have the park way to myself, it just feels like I like it's on top of the world and nothing can stop me and everything's so beautiful.
It's
So
real.
that's how to get your hands off the bars.
I'll have to go find a park with a path where nobody's on to test it out at first. What one, two, three, 10 songs, whatever it is, what are the songs that can come on into your aftershocks that are gonna get your hands off the handlebars and dancing?
Yeah, there's one that I really want to. Well, I have to learn the dances first. But do you remember the ketchup song?
No.
Yeah. So that one, the ketchup song, and then it was like I remember when I was a kid, it was like esa canción brujería, da, 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 witchcraft or whatever. So, but it has like a little groovy. So I really need to memorize the moves, but sometimes I'll put it on and then I'll just like imagine myself like writing while doing it. It's again just like mixing like these pieces from my childhood into my interest as an adult, which is like really it's so exciting. So that song, yeah,
I was gonna ask, what about when you're running? Do you also start dancing while you're running and when the music comes on or the beat hits?
yeah, but it feels a little different. It feels a little different, like because like being on the bike feels more like I'm floating. Um, but yeah, when I'm running, especially I think like the last 5K that I did have the banda on or like the with the tambores. And what's cool is that it's kind of like the the same like cadence, I think, like the song and like my body or like running cadence. So it just lines up, and so it helped me like run faster, I think, because I was like keeping with the cadence of the song and the
I
drums.
love
If
it.
that makes sense.
Yeah, we have a Everyday Athlete Podcast Network playlist on Spotify, so we'll have to add some music to that. If you've got songs you've got that you need us to pop in there, let me know. We'll add them. I've been adding as much Latin hip hop as I can as the song will come on Spotify. We're like, add the playlist, add the playlist. So let's talk about one of your other passions. I shouldn't say your other passion. You probably have many of them. Which, when we talked in the green room, was transportation and accessibility. Because I think that goes to the idea of building community as well, is being able for people to get places, have access to places, whether that's running or cycling. Um, I guess it's a two-part question. How does being an advocate for transportation and accessibility help you with either, co-leading the run club or as a runner and a cyclist? And then how does being part of the running and cycling community help with the transportation and accessibility side of your life?
Yeah. So, and I will say that it all started from running. For me, that was like the seed that changed my life. And kind of led me to this, like pursuing a career in urban planning and transportation. So, as a runner, I would have to um, drive to nicer sites, areas of town to go for a run. And then at some point I learned about tree canopy and all its benefits, and I realized, oh yeah, like my neighborhood doesn't have trees, and the neighborhoods that I drive to go for runs, they have trees. Pardon me. And then at some point I learned, because I live in North Sacramento, I live just north of the river. And then we were in a community meeting put on by the city, and then one of my neighbors pointed out, yeah, the river is right there, but we don't have access to it. And we live like in like one of the sides of town that kind of got redlined or whatever, like we were cut off from a lot of resources. And one of them being the river, which is so crazy because like here's this like natural resource, like land, right? And then so we should be able to have access to it, to go for walks along the river, to go for runs along the river. But like the way they planned it, they cut off our access to these natural spaces that like Mother Earth provided for us. Um, so it's just like really interesting. And then like there is a bike path. So once I started cycling, I realized, oh, there is a bike path entry like near my place, but there's not a safe way to ride or walk to the bike path. So I don't know who's it for. so so I think sometimes we compartmentalize our life, like as runners, as whatever athlete, whatever your sport is, we compartmentalize our life, and we really shouldn't. We should advocate for access to green spaces. We should advocate for an equitable built environment so that we all have safe access to our outdoors for recreation, for transportation, for whatever it is. And um, like I'm pretty new to pursuing this career, but I do want to merge these two. We can't ignore uh, like the inequities in the built environment, especially for some of our like peers and running clubs who might live in a different neighborhood that doesn't have sidewalks, that doesn't have lights, that doesn't have trees. We really need to be cognizant of this. Like not everyone has access to safe streets to run or walk in or ride their bikes. Um, and yeah, and then also like air quality is an issue. Um, And like we also need to take care of our air quality as runners. Like we're literally outside, that's the air we're breathing, so we need to think, okay, how can I make sure that for as long as I live, for as long as my body is able to run or ride or roll, that I'm breathing in cleanish air.
How do we get attention to these matters? Is it as simple as these kinds of conversations happening and promoting them and showcasing them? Are there other steps that we as the everyday citizen can take to bring attention to these matters? Because they are super important, right? The idea is we run outside, air quality is important. Running on a safe street that has a sidewalk, that you're not running in the street and isn't cracked all over the place so that you don't trip and fall, or you can ride your bike. Like all of this stuff is important, but in some cases, I think some people just get so overwhelmed because it seems like it's such a complex thing. Have you found ways to make it simpler for yourself to advocate and do, like you said earlier, just go do the thing? Like it's there, go do the thing. So how do we go do the thing?
Yeah, I think like what crosses my mind is collectives, like making sure you're a part of community groups. And I think we all have our role in society. We all have our role in community. For me, again, I see myself as a conduit that connects different communities, that connects different agencies. So I love that being my role, and then kind of being able to provide that to Coremos Sacramento, the running group, right? And then so then um, then our members like they don't have to do what I'm doing in like figuring out who the directors of the local air quality agencies are, right? Like everyone has just can gauge their capacity. Some people just need to like learn, like, oh, whoa, I never realized that. And I have trees in my neighborhood. That's crazy. And
Yeah.
that's like a step.
And I think that's the thing, right? Like you shouldn't be embarrassed that you don't know how to do that thing, right? Because if you've never done it before, how could you be expected to know to do the thing? And I'll use the word vulnerable again, like be vulnerable, raise your hand and say, I'd like to help. I don't know where to start. And there will be somebody like Dalia who has done things who can say, okay, go talk to this director over here or that director over there. Or I've already talked to this person. Maybe you can talk, right? You will help connect them because there are people who are established in communities who are already looking into these things, who are doing a lot of the heavy lifting and might just need a little bit of help. And we as the average Joe and Jane can provide that little bit of help, I would guess.
Mhm. Yeah, and then again, part of the like, doing the thing that you envision. Um, I am also not very shy anymore. So um, yesterday or this morning, I messaged. I went on LinkedIn and I messaged the director of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality District or whatever, which kind of handles the like air quality uh, like programs in the region. And I think they have a lot of different programs and a lot of different incentives and a lot of different educational stuff. And so I just messaged them on LinkedIn saying, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I do professionally. This is what I do with the Run Club. And this is like, I want to bring some kind of education and I want to make sure we're doing our part to clean our air. Can we meet for coffee and like just talk about ideas? Um, and then we have had like I guess kind of like a city agency come and table in the past to get input from the group, and so that was really exciting to kind of merge those two when they were getting they're getting resident feedback on safe streets, and so we were able to bring them out, and people were able to share. Our members were able to share about their neighborhoods.
I think one of the things that you said that stands out the most to me is I'm not shy. And I think that comes from having both failure and success. right? You realize that when you've asked for something and it didn't go your way, it wasn't the end of the world. You figured out a different way to ask for something else and you've moved forward. And I think that goes to one of the mantras that we have at Run Try Bike, which is failure isn't terminal, it's the building block to success. So you have to try, raise your hand, say, I'd like to help, and be told no, and then figure out how to help in a different way. And you'll find that you get empowered to continue to ask for the thing that you want, which will help, the community, help yourself, and help grow better streets, cleaner air, things like that. When you come up against an obstacle that is hard to overcome, do you lean back on this idea that at one point I couldn't run a mile and now I can run, a marathon or a half marathon or whatever distance longer than a mile, and that helps you with pursuing the things that you're pursuing that you might have obstacles that you come up against?
Obstacles. I'm trying to think of different obstacles that I face. Usually my obstacles are my brain and my inability to focus on tasks. So that's a little bit different. Yeah, obstacles. Is there a different way you can word that? And see, that's another thing, right? Like of not being shy and
Yeah, I think that's empowering, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it's empowering. We just had a conversation last week with a gentleman who we used the word confrontation, but we didn't mean it in a put up your dukes and fight each other, but in a look, the way you ask that question doesn't really resonate with me. Can you ask in a different way? And I think it's really important to be able to advocate for yourself in that scenario, right? Before you just start spewing from the lip and it might not answer the question. So the idea of obstacles, let me rephrase it. So you've been told no in the past about a myriad of things, I'm assuming. Has running and being able to overcome the fear that I used to run only 1 mile, now I run 1.1 miles. You've overcome that hurdle, right? In running, have the lessons that you've learned in running help you overcome the no's that you've gotten in life outside of running?
Interesting. I'm gonna be honest with you. I I don't resonate with that. I don't think I've like made that connection. I think that yeah, I don't know. I feel like both life and projects and dreams that we have in life, and then dreams that we have in our running journey, it all like just fluctuates like this. And and so I don't know, I think I'm comfortable with the fluctuation at this point. Like there are some seasons where I don't feel like my body can run a mile. It's like you ran like a handful of half marathons. What do you like? Why is my body in so much pain to run even a mile? And like I start feeling better, and then I pull a hamstring, and it's like, well, what's going on, body? Like you're doing so fine. Like work with me here. And I think that like, and then I don't know, and then something happens in my body, and it's like, wow, I just ran 3 miles, and I feel fine. Like I don't know. I think I've come comfortable with like just the fluctuations and the ins and out of comfortable seasons and uncomfortable seasons, and feeling okay with it, right? Like when there's times where like my hamstring isn't working, or like I have hip issues, and I'm like, why am I having hip issues? Like I've been putting in a lot of work, and it's annoying, but I don't beat myself up because I know what I've done, and I've lived through enough seasons where it's like this is just another hiccup.
I cannot tell you how refreshing of an answer that is, because you mentioned LinkedIn earlier. Like if you go on LinkedIn, right, you'll see posts along the lines of, I ran a marathon and here's what I learned about running a business. things like that. And it paints these pictures like everything is unicorns and rainbows. And it's like, nah, Holmes, not everything is unicorns and rainbows. Like life is hard. And some days I can run a mile, and other days I don't want to run a mile. And other days I can run 20 miles. And like being able to recognize that life is not linear, I think is an amazing asset, because I think we as human beings who are involved in any myriad of hobbies that are doing anything that involves putting yourself out there is hard. And there are going to be good days and there are going to be bad days. And if we're capable of recognizing both, then I think it even becomes more enjoyable. Whereas if you're like, everything is golden, everything is wonderful, look at the unicorn over there, look at the flying pig, look at the rainbow. And it's like, I'm not sure what world you're living in, because I don't live in that world. Let me ask you this. When we're running out of time here, and I want to get to our food questions, although, because we could be talking about this all day. Like my brain is rattling around with 100 different questions right now. Because I just find it fascinating that you're ready, willing, and able to be open and honest. And I wonder where that comes from. Is it something your family, reinforced in you as you were growing up? Was it something that as you became a young adult, you were like, man, this is just life and it is what it is? Like, how have you come to be able to be open and honest and ask these questions and present things the way that you do?
Miracle. I don't know. Just an adult. I had some kind of adult, mature fairy visit me in a dream. I don't know. It's happened miraculously, maybe in the last 4 years. And I know you can't tell, but I used to be really insecure up until I was like 26, 27. I feel like, I don't know, something happened when I was 27 that just transformed my brain and my heart and my soul. I was really insecure, and I would panic over, like, say you're asking me a question and I'm like, I don't know the answer, and I'm like, I'm a failure and I'm stupid and I'm a piece of shit and like you should have gone to college, read a fucking book. Sorry. Like, right. And then so it's like I would have like all of these like just like terrifying conversations in my head, and then I would dissociate and I would feel like my head spinning away. And I was just so hard on myself. And then I'm scrambling to like make up an answer, and I'm scrambling to like I want to like like be a I don't know, like maybe like put up a facade or something. And I don't know where, but at some point I just want to be honest. Right? Like, oh, I don't know what that word means. Can you explain it to me? Or like, I'm so sorry, I still don't understand the word. Can you give me an example of what it means? Or like, like I'm not afraid to look stupid, right? Like, I think like I don't know. I feel like way past that. I feel like I'm just human and I'm comfortable with my humanity, and I don't put my value on really anything outside of myself. I'm still imperfect. I still have my areas of insecurity, but like that, and I also don't put people on pedestals. So like I'm like, I was talking with my boss, and my boss has a doctorate. She's just so cool. And then I'm just like, how do you spell legal counsel? I'm so confused. Does it have an SEL? She's like, yeah, it's like SEL, because I'm used to working with a council, like the city council. And I'm like, oh great. And I'm telling my big boss, right? Like, oh great, now I have 2 words to worry about. Capital, capital with an O, capital with an A, and now I'm worried about council with an SEL. And then I'm just like, it's real. Spelling is hard. Like, I'm gonna try to hide it. And that's
And
not
that's
what my
amazing.
identity is in.
And that's amazing. Like I get the feeling in life and society. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's how I grew up. Maybe it's the environment in which I grew up. But it always feels like if you don't know everything, which is impossible, by the way, like it's impossible to know everything. You can't ostracized for it. You get ridiculed for it. And it's like, man, how would I know what NASA scientists are thinking, right? Like, I'm not a NASA scientist, right? I know marketing, I know baseball, like I'm good there. Cool. And I can do that stuff. Why would I be expected to know that stuff? And it's as if people are condemning you for not knowing. It feels that way anyway. Maybe they're not. It just feels that way. And so I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoy talking to you, because there is no pretense. There is no I'm smarter than you or I'm the smartest person in the room type of thing. It's, look, I don't understand this, so I'm going to ask you to rephrase the question. I don't understand that, so I'm going to ask you to rephrase the question. And I think that's refreshing, and I think it's open and honest, and I think we need more of that in our world today.
Yeah. Actually, and just a quick example I was thinking about today. I was in a meeting. We're like coordinating this event, and there's three. I was with two other partners, two other agencies that were working with, or organizations. And towards the end, someone was like, okay, which um, for this other nonprofit, they said like, oh, which funding source are we billing into? And I realized, oh my gosh, like that question was not directed at me, but then I realized like, oh wait, so well, someone else has to pay this other organization that we're working with, and like I don't like, what comes up with that? Who pays you? Where does the money come from? I thought we were all just having fun and making the world a better place. But then I realized, and then I was just like quick to be transparent and was like, oh, hey guys, I always forget about that. Like, I am not the finance guy around here. I'm gonna reach out to my director and then like make sure that like everyone has like the funding figured out and everyone gets paid for and then so I was like just super transparent about that, and then afterwards I went to go like so in that meeting I said like I'm not the budget guy, I'm the like I'm here for the vibes, like I just get it. I have the personality, which sometimes I'm like, am I derogatory to myself when I say like I'm just a personality hire, which I need to stop saying that so much, but I think it's fun because I am the personality.
You're the connector. You're the connector.
Yeah.
That's it. That's,
Yeah.
So I'm a huge sports fan, and every player on the field, on the court, in the rink has a role. If they were all doing the same thing, it wouldn't be a very good team. And so, yes, you have to have a marketing person, you have to have a finance person, you have to have a connecting, networking person, and that's the role we fill. And that's okay that's the role you fill. You don't have to do all these 17 other things as well. Like, that's end of story. I'm going to try to wrap this up with our food questions here as we come up on our time. And you've been so gracious with yours. Is there anything that you want to leave with our audience before we dive into the food stuff?
Yeah. I just want to go back really quick to, you mentioned some runners will say like, oh, I just did a 5K, or it's just a 5K, or it's just a 10K, or it's just like, oh, I did it really slow or whatever. And sometimes I'll have conversations with someone else like, hey, no, like what matters, like you moved your body and that's great. Like, right, like that's good. That's good enough as it is. Like, why do you limit yourself? And then some runners respond, oh yeah, like I'm doing better than the guy on the couch. And I'm like, don't compare yourself to the guy on the couch. Leave the guy on the couch by like leave him alone. Okay, like we all have things going on. Like, we do not need to put anyone else down or compare like to feel better about ourselves. And two, like comparison is comparison. It doesn't matter if you're like comparing yourself to like the elite or you're comparing yourself to the guy on the couch. Like leave them alone. It's not about them. Like, and sometimes also, like maybe we also can't compare ourselves to our past.
That's right. 100%.
Like, and so just be in the moment and just enjoy the moment and don't have any expectations.
It reminds
And
me
if
of,
you do, yeah, like
Yeah.
then just just enjoy the moment.
That's it. It reminds me of a phrase that I've said to my wife more than once, which is, don't become evangelical about the thing. And oftentimes I refer to people on sobriety journeys. I haven't had a drink in 10 years. And I don't evangelicalize it, right? Sober is the only way. Be sober, 100% sober, right? People understand that it's a process if you have an issue with drugs or alcohol to find your way through it. I had to find my way through it, right? I didn't just wake up on a Tuesday and be like, I'm cured, I'm free, and like I had to go through a process. And so when I see people being evangelical about things and they're just like, this is the only way to do it. It's like you're not really helping the person who needs the help. So if, for example, that person on the couch, they may want to get running, they may want to get moving, but if you're yelling constantly at, you're doing better than the guy on the couch or the gal on the couch is going to be like, oh no, I'm doing something wrong. And it doesn't give them the empowerment to come and go to the run club. It makes them shrink away
Yeah.
oftentimes. So I'm with you on that. Like I'm totally with you on that. So are you ready now for, since we've had such a serious conversation, to have something completely absurd when it comes to food choices here?
Let's do it.
We call them rapid fire food questions, but none of this is rapid fire. Feel free to take your time to think about.
The least
Pineapple,
rapid fire.
you got the pineapple on pizza question wrong. So let's see if we can get better with these going forward. Oreos. Are you a fan of the old school Oreo, the double stuff Oreo, the mega stuff Oreo, the thin Oreo, or the Cakester Oreo? Yes, there are that many varieties.
Crazy. Definitely original.
And how are you eating your Oreo? Are you a twist and scrape? Are you a dunker? Are you throwing it all in your mouth all at one time?
Drinker. Oh yeah, till it's like absorbed a lot of the. Usually on coffee. Usually
Oh, coffee.
just hot black coffee. Dunk it and then. Oh,
I
I love it.
love
I
it.
haven't had Oreos in a while.
We've done 160 something episodes and nobody has yet mentioned black coffee as the liquid of dunking into. You're the first.
It's so unique. I'm just so.
More proof of how unique you are. Licorice, yes or no? And if so, red or black?
I hate this question. I think I just hate this question, and like the black licorice is just so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Like
So
peace and love to whoever does enjoy black licorice.
not me. I can't stand it either. Like the box of Mike and Ike's that has that black licorice in there too. No, thank you. Candy corn. Is candy corn a real candy or is it just earwax covered in sugar?
Isn't all candy just just something random covered in sugar? I like it.
Okay. Not a resounding I'm here for it, but I'll have some if it's in the
I'll
bowl.
have I feel like I discovered it was not something that was in my Mexican household growing up, so I feel like I discovered it at, like, some school event when I was, like, maybe in middle school or something. I don't know, somewhere at school, and it was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cool." I like
What are, what are
it.
your what are your thoughts on Peeps? Are you a fan of them? Or is it something you would go to the store and buy, or are you like, yeah, whatever, leave it on the shelf?
No, no, I wouldn't. I feel like when I was in school, maybe I thought they were cute because I like when things have, like, festive stuff.
Yeah,
Like, obsessed with like, the Reese's themed stuff with, like, the Easter egg and, like, the Easter bunny and, like, what else do they have? Hearts.
The
Love all
Christmas tree. Don't forget the Christmas tree.
the Christmas tree. Yeah, oh, I just, like, I just wanna put it all in my mouth. The whole Christmas tree.
The
Mhm.
funny thing about that stuff is it's all the same. It's the same product that was made into a circle, a day before. That's just in a different shape. It cracks me up.
No, because the ratio is different, Jason. The ratio and, like, the consistency and, like, the shape, it's so like, the smoothness, oh,
This is why we have
I
these conversations. I need to be
now
put
you
in my
guys
place.
know my weakness now. Peanut butter Reese's peanut butter cup. Like, not even the cups, like, cups are like I do love peanut butter and chocolate, but, like, those holiday ones,
We'll have to send
the
a care package up to Sacramento this holiday season coming up. We'll send you.
Please.
Do they make a like a turkey, a Thanksgiving version? They must, right?
I'm gonna look it up.
While you're looking it up and we're talking about peanut butter, are you a creamy or crunchy fan?
What do you mean?
Creamy peanut butter. When do you eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Yes. I'm obsessed with Uncrustables.
Yes. So
And then
good.
this year I got Santa stole an air fryer from my stepmom. And I love throwing the Uncrustables in the air fryer and then saying breakfast.
And
Hot girls eat breakfast.
so the peanut butter gets a little warm and smoother in there when you air fry it then?
Theory, but I don't have that much patience. And I'm usually always late. So she's just
Okay.
still frozen when I take it out of the air fryer.
So you're just warming it up in the air fryer, you're not actually toasting it then?
No, every once in a while. But then no, sometimes I do leave it in there long enough, and then it's like I think it's more like runny. I haven't figured out the timing yet.
When it comes to speaking of toasting, s'mores, when you roast your marshmallow, are you making it like a charcoal briquette, or do you just want it tannish?
Like my marshmallows, like I like my coffee.
Yes, that's right. Burn the hell out of it. I was
Yeah.
I, I was told that if you burn it and you peel that outer layer off and you have like that ashy, crunchy stuff, that's awesome. Then you have that sticky stuff. You put
Mm,
the sticky stuff back in the fire and reburn it again, and it creates this amazing texture.
sickening. The best one.
Red velvet cake. Is red velvet cake a real flavor, or is it just chocolate cake dressed up to go to the prom?
Hmm. I think scientifically it's dressed up for prom, but it's like it has a placebo effect. It's delicate. It's delicate and it's creamy.
Do you have a favorite flavor of cake?
Um, I was trying to come up with an inappropriate joke. I like white. I like the white cake. Uh, yeah, just like like that Costco white with the whatever frosting that they have. Oh, I feel like sometimes I just crave
That sheet cake, it's like it's got
that
drugs
sheet
in it,
cake.
man. It's
Oh
unbelievable.
my
Like,
gosh.
just take the top off, put the fork in it, and never throw the fork away. Just every time you walk past it, you're just scooping with the fork. I feel
Yeah,
you.
I went to an event. I went to an event yesterday that had that cake, and I was like, why? Why did you bring just bring cookies? It's a and again, I'm not saying that I'm not one to like shame myself for like body, like what I eat or craving or whatever. Every once in a while, actually, like yeah, like my brain goes off. But it was like with that cake, I like can't
Yes.
like there's no end to it.
Yes.
And then there was like so much left over, and it's like no, just bring cookies because the cookies are finite. You order. We were like a cohort of like 25 or something. Just get 30 cookies. They're finite. Boom, you eat them.
Yeah.
That cake, I just I could go through it. I could go through it.
We'll send a we'll have to send a Reese's peanut butter cake up to you for the holidays. Make you smile there.
Yeah.
Um, we are running late on time, and so I'm going to skip some of these questions. I'm going to go straight to our closing question, which involves brownies. So, a tray of brownies has come out of the oven. It's sitting on the counter long enough to be cool. It's not cold, it's cool. Are you going to the edge? Are you going to the corner? Or are you going straight into the middle for the all ooey gooey part?
Given what I've shared so far, where do you think I'm going?
I think you're going straight into the middle for the ooey gooey part. Sticking the fork right in the middle. I don't even
Yeah,
give a shit about the rest of it.
yeah, and it's a spoon. I'm gonna go with a spoon. It's just like a little easier.
With the black coffee next to
With
you?
Yes. Okay, listen. See, I took a slice of cake home. Okay.
Yes.
Yesterday. And before I left my apartment, I put my cup of coffee in my fridge. So when I get home and then there's a slice of cake and there's a cup of coffee, and then I'm just like, don't have coffee right now. Don't have coffee. But I'm like, have fresh cake.
You gotta have the coffee with
So
it. Those are the rules.
I had
Plain and
I
simple.
had it. I'm just like, you only live once. You have one life to live, and it's fragile and it's delicate, and you should just like live in the moment, enjoy it.
That's
And
right. 100%. Like I am so with you on that. Like there's always Pop Tarts in our house. There's always M&Ms in our house. There's candy of some sort in our house always, and there's always coffee, whether it's a cafecito or a latte or a mocha or just straight black. There's always coffee here too. So I'm with you on that. Like there's no reason to not enjoy life because, like you said, it's short and it's fragile. Live it up.
Mhm.
Dalia, thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who are joining us late on the live, this will be available on your favorite podcast platform as well as YouTube on May 21st. Dalia, really appreciate your time. I can talk to you all day and night about a whole host of different things. You're such a great guest. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me, and come cheer in LA.
Will do. For those of you who have stuck around, thank you so much for giving us the gift of your time. It is the greatest gift that you can give somebody, and you've just done that with us. Really appreciate your time. Make sure you check out the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network on your favorite podcast platform. This episode will be on those platforms on the 21st of May. And next week on our Fireside Chat, we will be joined by Emily Johnson, who is a co-owner of a bike shop in Connecticut. And her goal is to get more women on bikes and to build community that way as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Fireside Chat.